Hello, and welcome to this edition of Tech Talk. My name is Eddie Ambler, and my co host is.
Leo Alvarado.
Today, we're going to be talking to you about choosing the right Oracle database offering that best meets your needs. As you can see on our agenda slide, we'll be discussing how to understand the available deployment models, how to understand the available management models, and also make sure that you have a good understanding of the available database offerings. When we discuss the database offerings, we will outline the key value characteristics of each of the database offerings and help you to map your use cases and pain points to those database offerings. So collectively, you should be able to choose the best Oracle database offering based on your scale needs, your performance needs, the management type that you're looking for, and the best cost value proposition to meet your needs.
Okay, so let's go to the first question, like why people are moving to the cloud.
Well, that's a pretty good question. People are moving to the cloud for a number of reasons, right? They might have, mandates to create a cloud-first initiative that they need to adopt and follow. They might be looking for new features and functionalities, right? Which they don't have time to develop on their own, but are available in the cloud. They might be trying to modernize application architectures, right? Move to microservices, and are looking for that agility and flexibility, that they can get out of cloud solutions. Or, maybe they have applications that are just growing tremendously and they don't have the time to wait on the procurement process and timelines and all those requirements that might be required to grow on-premise solutions, right? So being able to be agile and nimble and adjust to growth requirements. And finally, also, sometimes it's just cost, right? They're looking for more economical ways to deliver value to the business.
Okay, Eddie. So after seeing those consideration, the next question is, did you know that Oracle offers multiple database deployment models?
Well, that is actually a very good question. The beauty of Oracle and the Oracle database is that the database is absolutely 100% compatible, independent of where you choose to run it, right? It's one of the few database platforms that you can really run anywhere, right? On-premise, we have been for years now running the Oracle database on commodity infrastructure and, of course, on Oracle's engineered systems on-premise, right? Which is considered the very first journey to the cloud step that has lots of values that we will discuss in detail coming up. You also have the ability to run hybrid cloud, which is the ability to run Oracle's cloud, right? That Exadata platform behind your firewall in your data center to provide you a hybrid cloud experience where you're able to integrate on-premise applications with the cloud economics of Cloud at Customer. And finally, there's the public cloud, right? So Oracle's public cloud is able to deliver all types of workloads, all types of cloud services. But when it comes to the database, right, we have everything from, IaaS all the way to the Exadata cloud service that you're used to. And we have the base database service, which is based on virtual machines. So again, in the public cloud, you can get our virtual machine solutions, as well as our Exadata cloud infrastructure solutions. And, to kind of wrap that up, I think this particular slide here really brings it up, right? Oracle database, right? It's the converged database is available everywhere. You can take the Oracle database and give your developers the opportunity to work with all kinds of data models that are pre-integrated into the database, right? So no need to move from one point solution database to another, spending time moving data and transforming data. You'll simply use the Oracle database to access the data that you need in its format that you need to work with the language you need to work with, independent of where you deploy it. Deploy it on engineered systems on premise, on commodity hardware, using our Cloud at Customer, in other clouds, right? It's another way to think about it. You can run the Oracle database anywhere. So this just gives you that good viewpoint that Oracle database is key, it's central. It is offering you the best integration view and the flexibility to run it anywhere you need.
Yeah, so and now we know that Oracle database is 100% compatible, like it's available everywhere. So maybe the next one that we wanted to talk about is Did you know that Oracle also offers different management models?
Hmm. Well, it's a great question because most people don't, right? They're not really aware of all the choices that you have. And Oracle is really geared to meet the customer where they're at and to give them the flexibility and choice, right? So when we look at the management models, customers on premise might be used to doing everything on their own, right? If they come to the cloud, we have IaaS deployments where they can build their own, just like they would on premise, right? They can build their own compute, they can attach their own storage, they can install the database and manage it, the way they would. The Oracle Cloud, what its real power is in the next two areas. It also delivers not just freeing you up from the infrastructure, but co-managed solutions where Oracle manages the infrastructure up to the hypervisor, and customers manage the database that sits on top of that. We also have solutions that are fully managed, where Oracle manages not only the infrastructure but the infrastructure and the database, and you simply focus on delivering the business capabilities that you're after.
So, Eddie, what's the difference between co-managed and a fully managed model?
It's a great question. It's kind of like we mentioned, right? It really is the fact that with a fully managed system, your DBAs don't have to be worrying about managing the databases, right? They're just worrying about delivering the application that database is supporting. Co-managed, Oracle is responsible for the infrastructure management, and the customer DBAs would manage the database. Now, in our co-managed, we provide user-initiated cloud automation tools. So it's not, we're just, Oracle isn't just saying, hey, you manage the database. So in the cloud, we actually give you the cloud automation functions to help give you that productivity you need, right? Even in co-managed, you're enabling your DBAs to be able to do more work and operate more efficiently, right? So if you're constrained with manpower things, moving to the cloud, right? It's not just about performance and overall cost, but the operational tools to be able to help you do the work with less human error because of the cloud automation and efficiency is also part of that deliverable. So great question.
So why would I choose a co-managed solution, and where does the IS type of model fit in?
Okay, so again, kind of remember with IaaS, we're going to give you, that what you ask for. If you ask for a compute, you get a compute. If you ask for a VM, you get a VM, right? So you can get whatever it is that you want. So in IaaS, you, the customer, are requesting the provisioning in the cloud of exactly the elements you want, and you're building it there. There's no database cloud automation with IaaS. With co-managed, you get all the cloud automation for the layers that are considered the customer tasks.
And then our co-managed and fully managed services, are they only available in the public cloud?
So the answer is going to be no, right? Oracle is really committed to meeting you where you are, right? You might have regulatory requirements that do not allow you to move your data to the public cloud, right? So Oracle has solutions, which we'll go over, that literally can be in your data center that are co-managed solutions, and also in the public cloud that can be co-managed or fully managed. So both management styles are available with cloud services that are available on premise, with Cloud at Customer, or in the public cloud. So great question. So let's take a look at this next question here that we typically have.
Yeah, so do you know what cloud services Oracle offers for its database?
Okay, so it's a great question, right? Because we've kind of looked at the deployment models, and we've looked at the management styles, right? So you kind of have a feel that, hey, I can put my Oracle database where I want it, and I can manage it how I want it, right? Very simple. So now let's look at the database services. So Oracle Database Services in the Oracle Cloud, we have 5 general services we offer. If we start on the left, we have our base database service, which is a service that's built on our virtualized machines in the cloud. One of the big differentiating factors that it has over a lot of our competitive solutions that are VM-based is that our base database service also supports RAC. right? So you have the economics and the scale of the VMs with the HA capabilities of RAC. And, it can support a pretty decent sized database, right? Up to 80 terabytes of storage on high performance block storage. So it's a great entryway. You're able to scale everything from one OCPU to a couple hundred within the framework that's available as you scale out to your rack. So when you need a little bit more performance or you need a little bit more scale than the base database offers, the next tier up is our Exadata database service, right? And again, on the Exadata service, it's offered to you either on dedicated infrastructure, right, that is in the public cloud, or on Cloud at Customer in your data center. And our autonomous database offerings, right, is the next layer. When you want a fully managed experience, the autonomous database offerings, they cover that space. That was that third block we saw. And the great thing about that platform or that service offering is that it sits and runs on the Exadata platform. So you get all of the performance, scale, availability that you would expect out of the Exadata platform, whether it's, Exadata that's on premise or Exadata that's in the public cloud, right? Or on Cloud at Customer. When you layer on top of the cloud services, the autonomous features, you still get all of those great features and functions, performance and scale of the Exadata platform.
Okay, so what are the key characteristics of each Oracle database service?
All right, awesome. So now we've kind of discussed what the database services are, right? The fact that Oracle offers database services that run in on-premise, they run in Cloud at Customer, and they also run in the public cloud. So let's look at those a little bit more in detail, their characteristics about them. Let's start with the base database service, and we kind of hinted at this one a little bit, right? It actually runs standard edition database or enterprise database edition databases. So this means it can be very affordable for you to run workloads on this environment. You have root access, right? So you actually will be given root access to the VM where you can do things like install additional software, right? It's a really friendly way there. You have access to all the supported features and options. That's another big differentiator. In many of our competitors, right, you can either maybe run just a basic database or a single instance database, or you're limited to standard edition, right? But when you're running the base database service, you have access to all of the tiers of licensing and all of the database features. You can run RAC, you can run DataGuard. All you need to do is address the right licensing model to the features you need. So you don't have to overpay in the cloud. You can be very specific as to the tier of license that you apply. And we give you access to user-controlled cloud automation. Remember, I talked about when you come to the cloud, right, in the co-managed model, Oracle manages up to the VM hypervisor. You're given the cloud tools to do things like, how do I create a database, patch a database, back up a database, right, clone a database, create a standby for a database. All of these things which you normally would have to have your DBA have a whole lot of code writing and steps. They're provided for you via cloud automations, whether it's through the UI console, where you can just do easy click streams, or through the REST APIs where you can programmatically do these activities. We already talked about the fact that the base database service provides 2-node rack to give you that automated HA experience. It reduces costs. Unlike some other solutions where you can only increase, right, your OCPU capacity or your CPU capacity upwards, in the cloud, one of the things that gives you that cloud economics is that you're able to scale the CPUs up or down to align with your workload demands, right? And then finally, to really bring home cost savings, again, you have a choice of those licenses included, right, which can give you all of the database options or a subset of database features, right? You only have to license to the feature level you need. And for those of you who already have licenses on premise that you want to transition to the cloud, not a problem. You can bring your own license model, which makes the running the database in the cloud way cheaper, because you're not only get a lower CPU price for running the database using BYOL, but you also then qualify for your cloud rewards, right? Which is a way to gain credit for using the cloud that you can then use that credit to pay down, even almost all the way down to zero, your support charges for those BYO licenses. So it's a win-win. You get the advances in Oracle Cloud, and then you also are rewarded on the back end to eliminate those support fees or reduce them. Because Oracle is Oracle, right? We talked about the compatibility. It's an easy lift and shift from on-premise to the cloud, right? You can do, export import. You can do your standbys and switchovers, very easy. And, we talked about the scale of the base database service, as little as 1 OCPU to 128 OCPUs. And again, we can scale the high performance block storage to 80 terabytes. So I spent a little bit more time on this feature because you'll notice as we move forward that some of these characteristics, they just kind of expand. So we said that the Exadata database service really was something you could consider moving up to when you needed more scale performance than the base database service. So this is considered the most flexible with full administrative control. Again, you have root access to the VMs, you have user controlled automation. The infrastructure, just like the base VM, is managed by Oracle. So this is another one of those that fits in the co-managed bucket, but you're getting the performance, availability, and scale of the Exadata, right? So this is what you're getting here. It's the fastest cloud for OLTP and analytics. It's the best platform for consolidation, right? Exadata has IO Resource Manager, which truly allows you to mix workload types in a consolidated environment so that you don't run into the conflicts of first in, first out, where your data warehouse request or blocking your OLTP request and vice versa. So you can truly run diverse workloads in the Exadata environment, getting the most utilization out of your infrastructure. And it has, the maximum availability architecture best practices built in. So you don't have to worry about, having to, go back and make sure that those best practices. So this cloud service includes those best practices. It has the scale that you need, right? You could scale up to thousands of database cores with petabytes of storage. So, whether you need to service a lot of small databases in consolidated environment or one large, very critical database, not an issue. The platform is the right one to address those.
I have a question. So
Yes.
for the scenario that, let's say, I'm trying to prove out an application concept for a planned large application, or it could be that I have an Exadata on premise and that I need to quickly do some UAT testing. So the question is, can I do that in the cloud, and do I need to commit to the solution first?
So that's a great question. Absolutely, you can do it, right? So maybe you don't have Exadata at all in your organization. You're trying to prove out that it's something worthwhile. The cloud allows you to bypass the CapEx process, right? Needing to fund and get approval to acquire infrastructure. Then you can pilot it in the cloud. The Exadata database service in the public cloud has almost no commitment level to it, right? You spin it up. I think the minimum is 48 hours. As soon as after that, you shut it down whenever you want. So very, very low entry level with no CapEx requirements there, or vice versa. Let's say you have an Exadata environment, but you need to do UAT. Well, you don't necessarily want to have the capacity or want to do it on your on-premise platform. Not a problem. You can go to the cloud, spin up your UAT environment, give that to your users. When they're done with it, you shut it down and you move on. So it gives you that flexibility to on demand be able to spin up the environments where you need. And again, the licensing models, right? You can use your license included, or you can use your BYOL. So if you don't have licenses at all, no problem. Spin it up, use as much of the capacity you need. When you're done, spin it down, and you're good to go. So great question.
So if I can scale up in Exadata database service, can I also scale down to 0 OCPU?
Man, I love the question. Again, right? Similar to base database. This is a cloud economics just benefit. if I don't need to run my service, I can scale to 0 CPUs. What happens there is, the instances are shut down. My billing stops for my OCPUs. So it's a way to save money. But what if there's somewhere in the middle? Maybe I was at 100 CPU cores and my workload has dropped, right? Maybe I only need half of those. No problem. You can scale your CPUs on demand up and down. And by the way, you can do it online. So that's the value here, is that you can really adjust the enabled processing power, right, of this service to meet your workload demands, which saves the most money for your organization.
When I scale down to 0, do I lose my data?
Great question. No. So the billing stops. That doesn't mean that your service is terminated. So your data is protected, right, and available. Whenever you decide that you're ready to turn the service compute back on, you simply scale back up the OCPUs to the desired levels. All the instances will automatically come up, and your data will be available to you. So great question. You do not lose your data. It just going to 0 CPUs just shuts the compute instances down and stops the billing on your OCPUs.
So yeah, so that's for OCPU. Now, the other question is, can I scale up the storage, like the Exadata storage allocated to my VM cluster?
The answer is yes, right? Matter of fact, Oracle introduced the concepts of multi-VM, which are available on-premise in Cloud@Customer, and they're also available in the public cloud, right, on the Exadata platform. And what they allow us to do is we can start with 2 terabytes of storage allocated to our VM cluster and increment in increments of 1 terabyte. But if we need to scale down to make room, for example, for other VMs, right, then you can scale down that storage as well, as long as you don't go beyond the minimum of 2 terabytes, and you remember to leave room for your data growth. So yes, the short answer is you can scale your allocated Exadata storage up or down to meet your workload demands.
So what makes Exadata special, especially for the use case of consolidating workloads?
That's a great question. I think I alluded to it a little bit earlier. It really is the Exadata storage software, right? It is something that no other vendor has. It is the secret sauce that makes the Exadata platform special, whether we're talking about Exadata on-premise or Exadata in one of our cloud models, right? And remember, even our autonomous models, because the autonomous runs on Exadata. So when we're talking about consolidation, right, the IO resource management capabilities of the Exadata platform and the ability to offload queries from the compute down to the storage server, where specialized algorithms can actually help us to operate efficiently, right? They allow us to get the best performance for OLTP, the best performance for analytics, and to do that in a concurrent fashion where we can have multiple workload types, right, and scale and performance needs and criticality all being managed within the same architecture platform, leveraging IO Resource Manager to carry out the directives that allow that to happen.
Okay. Hey, Eddie, I'll just read a question from our Q&A. Do you offer a fully managed database service for Exadata?
Absolutely. So when we talk and you hear the name, so matter of fact, it's a great lead-in to the next question, right? So to wrap the Exadata database service up, it runs the same Oracle database as you would run on premise. It runs the same Oracle database as you would run in our base database service. So it's a really easy lift and shift, right, to be able to move to a cloud version of your Exadata. So if you're running Exadata on premise, nice and easy lift and shift. It's available in the public cloud and it's available in Cloud@Customer. So let's transition to the next item, which is the autonomous database. So this leads, this is a great way to answer the question that you posed, Leo, which is, does Oracle offer a fully managed database service? The answer to that is the autonomous database. Yes, yes, and yes. Okay, Oracle has made The Oracle database, simple, 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 very easy to deploy, very easy to manage. With just a few clicks, I could have an Oracle database that is fully managed up and available in the public cloud by simply giving a name, allocating a number of OCPUs and the amount of storage I want, hit the click button, and boom, it's provisioned. And at that point, I simply go develop my application, right? The infrastructure management is done by Oracle. The database management is done by Oracle. I'm simply focusing on delivering the application capabilities to the business. Now, when it comes to autonomous database, right, you have in the public cloud, you can have shared, right, which gives you the service delivered on shared Exadata infrastructure. Or you can have it on dedicated infrastructure, right? Where you are on infrastructure with no other customers at all, but the same management experience, right? Now, when it comes to autonomous, the autonomous dedicated version is also available in Cloud at Customer. So if you want to run an autonomous database, it doesn't matter whether you have requirements to keep your data on-premise or in the public cloud. The fully managed experience is available to you in both locations.
Then the question is, can I run both, or can I have a mix of both autonomous database and Exadata database service?
We've made it simple again, right? You can deploy one cloud Exadata infrastructure, right? So your Exadata cloud infrastructure is able to run both the Exadata database service and the autonomous database service. Okay, so that means that you don't have to choose. Right. Matter of fact, Oracle is able to deploy that autonomous database for you right out of the gate so that you can use either service you desire. And I think one of the really cool things to kind of point out is that, you don't really experience any charges for the autonomous service until you actually enable and use those CPUs. So, right. So if the CPUs aren't in use, there's no charges for the autonomous service. So it's a great way to gain exposure. So my recommendation is if you have an Exadata cloud infrastructure out there, spin up the autonomous database flavor that makes, that best meets your needs. And again, you only pay for what you use. So, experiencing the service really doesn't cost you anything. So great question.
So is the autonomous shared a cost-effective solution for developers? Like if I want to build new apps.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, the autonomous shared, offers fractional CPUs, right? That is innovative, right? Not only is it easy, right? It just within a couple of clicks, what name, how many CPUs, how much storage. When I define that CPU, I could say 1/10 of a CPU, 2/10 of a CPU, right? So I'm not even having to incur the cost of a full CPU to do my prototyping or my development work that I need. So not only so it's very quick, it's fully managed, and it's the lowest cost a way to spin up an Oracle database. And again, you have the full capabilities and protection of the underlying platform, which is Exadata. So you're going to get that Exadata performance and that Exadata HA, right, along with the fully managed experience and that low-cost experience.
Okay, so let's go to the next question. Are cloud offerings cost efficient?
Well, I think we've been alluding to that answer, which is absolutely, this highlight what really makes the cloud offerings efficient. It's, on-premise, you're needing to make sure that you license to the peak usage, right? And you don't really have the ability to ramp up and down your CPUs. In the cloud, you have the elastic compute scaling. You are able to elastically scale the enabled CPUs to match your workloads, right? So if at peak you need 100 cores, then no problem, run your cloud at 100 cores. If the workload demand drops to half, no problem, lower your enabled OCPUs to half, and that also lowers your cost, okay, for your OCPUs. So, the autonomous workloads, they go a step further. They have auto scaling where the autonomous system, right, is monitoring your workload demands and automatically scaling your enabled CPU capacity, again, to align with the workload. And we talked about it, regardless of whether you're in the the Exadata database service or the autonomous database service, you're able to scale online the OCPU changes up and down. So that is truly what brings this economic value as a reality. Because if you had to take an outage, right, you might not be inclined to do this. But since you can do it online, it's no harm at all, right, in being able to right size the workloads.
Okay, so let's go to the next. Did you know that Oracle Cloud offers a choice of license included and bring your own license or BYOL models? Well, I have a follow-up question on this.
Okay.
So since we're talking about Exadata database service, so what licenses do I need to bring if I wanted to subscribe to Exadata database service? It's like, do I need to bring the Exadata storage server software to the Exadata database service?
You know, the story of moving to the cloud gets better and better. Absolutely, you do not need to bring the Exadata storage server software licenses. That's another benefit of running in the cloud. Those licenses are included as part of the cloud service. So if you're running, you know, Exadata on premise, then you have to maintain the licenses for the compute and the licenses for the storage server. But in the cloud, you simply pay for the OCPUs that you want to run, and that's it, right? Or if you do BYOL, you BYOL just the enterprise edition licenses and the features that you want to run, and that's it. There's no need to actually procure and bring over the storage server licenses. So it's a great question. So you save a lot of money, right, there as well. So that's another cost savings reason that people are using to move to the cloud. So it's a great question. So let's look at the models, right? We talk about the fact that there is a licensing model of license included, right, which literally is ideal for organizations that are building new applications or expanding new functionality, right? It includes all of the Oracle database options and management packs at one low price. So you don't need all these many different SKUs and no guessing what it is that you have. You know, you're able to pay for this with your universal cloud credits. So again, you don't need to be measuring, well, how many of this widget or that widget do I need? Oracle has made it simple, again, to license the cloud. Simply use your universal cloud credits to pay for your license included option, which again gives you the ability to use all of the database options and features. So, you know, on premise, you might be financially limited to which features or functions you might want to, you know, use to bring value to the business. In the cloud, all of those services and features and functions are available to you. So, you know, not only are you able to save money, but you should be able to, you know, increase the value and the functionality that your database services provides to the business. And on the right, the bring your own licenses. Again, if you have already invested in your licenses on premise for the workloads you need, and you're trying to modernize by moving to the cloud, you know, moving to the cloud allows you to be rewarded, right? You're able to get a lower CPU cloud cost by bringing your licenses to the cloud. And then layer on top of that, you qualify to receive your Oracle Cloud Rewards discount, which you can then use to pay down the support fees for those licenses that you're using as bring your own license. Now, a few things I'll outline here is that when you bring over your Enterprise Edition license to the cloud, this includes TDE, right? We have to be safe, right? So Oracle doesn't want you to risk your data safety, right? So we include transparent data encryption in all our database, cloud database offerings, so that, you know, your data is always secure, whether it's data at rest or data in motion. We give you data safe, which allows you to be able to scan, monitor your data for making sure that your data is properly protected, that you understand, you know, which users have access to sensitive data, right? So it's a great tool that is included that you should look at to give you a good security dashboard as to, you know, how your data is doing. And this tool can be used on premise and in the cloud. You know, you get Oracle Machine Learning, you know, a select number of packs at no additional cost. So just kind of wanted you to be aware that on premise, you might have to pay for these things, but in the cloud, they're included with every database cloud offering that we have. So this is a great way, again, to bring value for that existing investment as you move to the cloud.
Eddie, are any of the databases available on our always free tier?
The answer to that is yes, right? I want you to be innovative, right? And we talked about how simple the autonomous database is, right? So we have included the autonomous database in the always free tier so that you always have access to the most innovative way to consume the Oracle database with the least amount of management, right? It's a fully managed service. You are able to deploy up to 2 instances of the autonomous database and be able to experience the Exadata features and functions in the free tier. So yes. All right. So I think that I don't think there's any other questions at this point, right? So I kind of wanted to summarize a couple of use cases. I had some use cases which we were going to talk about, which kind of were in the area of, how do I determine which of the Oracle database offerings best solve, your pain points, right? So I'll bring them up and we'll just kind of scan through them really quick. But what you'll realize is we kind of talked about these, so we'll just walk through the common challenges and just remind you of how we map them, right? So Leo, you'll read the challenges. I'll kind of discuss a little bit of the solutions as we kind of go through.
Okay, sure. So let's go through the challenge of the need to organize and standardize database tag, but not ready to move to the cloud model yet.
All right. So you see us say, hey, the Exadata database machine on premise, right? The first step in the journey to the cloud is to standardize on the Oracle platform, which is the Exadata database machine, right? So that allows you to solve those goals, right? The Exadata database machine, is going to give you those standards ways of deploying, standard ways of patching, standard ways of managing, which are going to be similar to those methodologies and ways that are available when you move to the cloud. So this is why we consider this the first step in your journey to the cloud.
And then how about if the challenge is related to experiencing performance or scaling pain?
Okay. That one's easy. Whenever you are challenged with performance or scaling pain, right, the Exadata platform as a whole that's what it's designed for, right? To be able to give you that high performance, that high ability to scale, right? And if you need that with a fully managed experience, you can get it out of the autonomous database. Whether you run that autonomous database in Cloud@Customer, right, on dedicated infrastructure, or you run it in the public cloud on dedicated infrastructure, or you run it using our shared infrastructure. So, right, even autonomous shared, although you're sharing the Exadata platform, it's running on Exadata, so you will get that performance and scale that's available to that underlying item. And if you can't go to the cloud, all right, or cloud economics aren't in your roadmap at the time, not an issue. Remember that the core is the Exadata database machine, right? And that is always available to you on premise.
Okay. The next one is easy. Need to consolidate database workloads from across many servers.
Well, similar to the answer above, right? If you want a fully managed database experience where you're doing consolidation, you would do that using the autonomous database on dedicated Exadata infrastructure, whether it's your dedicated infrastructure that's with Cloud@Customer or in the public cloud. The Exadata database service is another way, right? If you're looking for more of a co-managed solution, right? And again, you can use that service in Cloud@Customer or in the public cloud. And if cloud isn't in your roadmap at this time, you can at least start the process of being able to be ready for that and do your consolidation work on the Exadata database machine on premise.
Okay. Next one. Oh, this one is related to a hybrid deployment. Like need to modernize database stack to benefit from cloud economics, but cannot move data to the public cloud.
Okay, this is absolutely why Oracle designed and delivered the Cloud Customer product, right? The Exadata Cloud Customer. This allows people to benefit from the Oracle Cloud Economics, the Exadata performance, even when there are regulations that say that they must keep the data behind their firewalls, right? Or they must be in full control of the what is happening to their data at all times, right? So the Cloud Customer has operator access control, which gives you the ability, even though Oracle is able to manage the infrastructure, right? Even at that layer, operator access control gives you the ability to monitor what Oracle does, control what Oracle can do, when they can do it, and be able to grant permissions and revoke permissions. So you are in full control and visibility, monitoring, access, audit, so that you can be able to adopt cloud. Before this feature function was delivered, industries that had regulations that prevented them, they couldn't use the cloud function. So the Exadata Cloud Customer has the tooling, even for those industries, to be able to modernize their database stack with cloud economics and keep it behind the firewalls where they have control.
Okay, let's continue. So second one is, oh yeah, so a lot of customers are moving into this. So ready to eliminate or downsize their on-premises data centers, but still need to address operational workload demands.
Yeah, this is typical, right? As people are creating their cloud journeys, a lot of the end states are to move entire data centers, right, to the cloud, not just specific workloads. We talked about the fact that, depending on the level of management that you need, you might pick Autonomous Database, or you might pick the Exadata Database Service, right, in the public cloud. This is no different here. And there's not one right answer. You might have some of your database workloads that are serviced with Autonomous, and you might have some of your workloads that are serviced with Exadata Database Service, right, in the public cloud. And then also you might have some workloads that can benefit from our base database service, right? So the kimono is kind of open to you. We've made it very, very simple, right? Any one of these services, you can simply do a lift and shift of your Oracle database from your on-premise to either one of these choices. So when people are planning data center migrations, you normally will see a pool of databases kind of mapped appropriately to each one of these service types to give you the right control and cost point. Okay.
The next is the need for low-cost cloud development solutions that are portable.
We've hit on this in a couple different ones. Autonomous Database Shared, you can't beat it, right? It's fully managed, just a few clicks to deploy. It supports fractional CPU. So you can't get any cheaper, quicker, simpler than that, right? No administration required.
And it's available on our always free tier.
Absolutely, and absolutely perfect. So it looks like we're down to our last question.
Yeah, so last one. Want to move to the cloud to benefit from cloud economics, but have significant on-premise license investment.
Okay, again, Oracle wants you to, we want to reward our existing customers, right, that have made that investment, right? And so and as part of their journey to the cloud, we use the BYOL licensing model to give them a lower cost pricing schedule to be able to consume the cloud CPUs. And then we also enable them to be eligible for the Cloud Rewards program, so that they are actually given credit to be able to pay down their support fees for those BYOL licenses. So hopefully this conversation really helped you guys to understand our offerings, right? Deployment models, management models, the different services, how to decide which thing to use. The fact that you can build and use services on-premise with Cloud Customer or in the public cloud, in that you truly have a very flexible and agile solution available to you. I hope you're all excited about what you've learned.
So before we close, I'll just quickly show how to join the public Slack workspace channel. And
We can extend the discussion, like from our tech talk, if you have any questions, or do you want to reach out for any clarifications, or then we can. So we have a public Slack workspace channel. So join the discussion. It's everything about cloud database services. So how to join? So here's the join link. So just click on the join link and then log in your email account for Slack, set up your 2FA, and that's it. Welcome to the workspace. So in our workspace, you'll see several channels. So we posted there our how-to guides, our tech talk updates. We even have a cloud coaching session that we're planning to do. And you'll meet also Ask Ed and Ask Debbie. So we have two AI bots in our Slack channel. So if you have questions about OCI, CLI, and DBAS CLI commands, so just say feel free to say hi to Ask Ed and Ask Debbie. How to say hello? So in the Slack channel, just go through the apps, and then you can see two apps there, Ask Debbie and Ed, and then you can simply add it to your workspace. Type in any questions about OCI CLI, like for example, how would I create an Exadata cloud infrastructure, and then the Ask Ed will help you with that with those inquiries, and also ask Debbie for DBAS CLI.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Leo. We're out of time at this point. I hope you guys have enjoyed this session. It's definitely been a pleasure for me. So at this point, Leo, I think we're ready to close. We've kind of done the Q&A as we've been going on. But, I think at this point, I'll just say thank you all for joining this session. And again, my name's Eddie Ambler, and he is.
And I'm Leo Alvarado.